Grandma here reading Number of the Stars. We're starting on chapter 12, and today I'm going to read chapters 12 and 13. A little review, and the Rosens and the other families whose names we don't really know. There's an older man, and there's a family with a small baby. And the Rosens, with their friend Ellen, are on their way to the boats to try to escape. And at this point, I'm going to ask you to think a little bit about what you think is going to happen. We only have maybe, 50 pages left in the book. And I want you to predict what you think is going to happen in the next few chapters, and how do you think the ending is going to be? And I'll give you a few minutes to think about that. Being able to predict, whether it's correct or not, is another reading skill that's very important for understanding a book. It really doesn't matter much whether you're right or wrong. The idea is that you have something, you're relating to the book. It's a tie that you have with the book. It's part of your reading relationship. Now I'm going to read the names of the next two chapters. Chapter 12, Where Was Mama? Chapter 13, Run as Fast as You Can. Now I'm going to ask you, has your prediction changed? Do you think you're going to change what you thought was going to happen? Okay, let's begin. Chapter 12, Where Was Mama? Mr. Rosen tripped on the loose step outside the kitchen door. His wife grasped his arm, and he regained his balance. "It's very dark," Mama whispered as they stood in the yard with their blankets and bundles of food gathered in their arms. "And we can't use any kind of light. I'll go first. I know the way very well. And you follow me. Try not to stumble over the tree roots in the path. Feel carefully with your feet. The path is uneven. And be very, very quiet," she added unnecessarily. The night was quiet too. A slight breeze moved in the tops of the tree, and from across the meadow came the sound of the sea's movement, which was a constant sound here and always had been. But no birds called or cried here now in the night. The cow slept silently in the barn, the kitten upstairs in Kirsty's arms. There were stars here and there dotting the sky among thin clouds, but no moon. Annamarie shivered, standing at the foot of the steps. "Come," Mama murmured, and she moved away from the house. One by one, the Rosens turned and hugged Annamarie silently. Ellen came to her last. The two girls held each other. "I'll come back someday," Ellen whispered fiercely. "I promise." "I know you will," Annamarie whispered back, holding her friend tightly. Then they were gone. Mama and the Rosens. Annamarie was alone. She went into the house crying suddenly and closed the door against the night. The lid of the casket was closed again. Now the room was empty. There were no signs of the people who sat there for those hours. Annamarie wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. She opened the dark curtains in the windows. She curled once more in the rocker, trying to relax. She traced their route in her mind. She knew the old route, too. Not as well as her mother, who'd followed it almost every day on her childhood with her dog scampering behind. But Annamarie had often walked to town and back that way, and she remembered the turns, the twisted trees with gnarled roots pushing the earth now and then into knotted clumps, and the thick bushes that often flowered in early summer. She walked with them in her mind, feeling the way through the darkness. It would take them, she thought, half an hour to reach the boat where Uncle Henrik was waiting with his boat. Mama would leave them there, pausing a minute, no more, for a final hug. Then she would turn and come home. It would be faster for Mama alone, with no need to wait as the Rosens, unfamiliar with the path, slowly felt their way along. Mama would hurry, sure-footed now, back to her children. The clock in the hall struck once. It was 2:30 in the morning. Her mother would come home in an hour, Annamarie decided. She rocked gently back and forth in the old chair. Mama would be home by 3:30. She thought of Papa back in Copenhagen alone. He would be awake too. He would be wishing he could have come, but knowing too that he must come and go as always, to the corner store for the newspaper, to his office when morning came. Now he would be afraid for them and watching the clock, waiting for word that the Rosens were safe, that Mama and the girls were here at the farm, starting a new day with the sun shining through the kitchen window and cream on their oatmeal. It was harder for the ones who were waiting, Annamarie knew. Less danger perhaps, but more fear. She yawned and her head nodded. She fell asleep. And it was a sleep as thin as the night clouds, dotted with dreams that came and went like stars. Light woke her, but it was not really morning, not yet. It was only the first hint of a slightly lightening sky, a pale gleam at the edge of the meadow, a sign that far away, somewhere to the east where Sweden still slept, morning would be coming soon. Dawn would creep across the Swedish farmland and coast, then it would wash little Denmark with light and move across the North Sea to wake Norway. Annamarie blinked in confusion, sitting up, remembering after a moment where she was and why. But it was not right. The pale light at the horizon, it should be dark still. It should still be night. She stood stiffly, stretching her legs, and went to the hall to look at the old clock. It was past 4 o'clock. Where was Mama? Perhaps she'd come home and not wanted to wake Annamarie, and had gone to bed herself. Ah, surely that was it. Mama must have been exhausted. She'd been up all night, had made the dangerous journey to the boat, and returned through the dark woods, wanting only to sleep. Quickly, Annamarie went up the narrow staircase. The door to the bedroom where she slept with Ellen was open. The 2 small beds were neatly made, covered with old quilts, and empty. Beside it, Uncle Heinrich's door was open too, and his bed too was unused and empty. Despite her worry, Annamarie smiled slightly when she saw some of Heinrich's clothes crumpled in a chair and a pair of shoes caked with barnyard dirt lying on the floor. He needs a wife, she said to herself, imitating Mama. The door to the other bedroom, the one Kirsty and Mama were sharing, was closed. Quietly, not wanting to wake them, Annamarie pushed it open. The kitten's ears moved, standing up straight. Its eyes opened wide, and it raised its head and yawned. It pried itself out of Kirsty's arms, stretched, and then jumped lightly to the floor and came to Annamarie. It rubbed itself against her leg and purred. Kirsty sighed and turned in her sleep. One arm, free now of the kitten's warmth and comfort, flung itself across the pillow. There was no one else in that wide bed. Annamarie moved quickly to the window, which overlooked the clearing that led to the path's entrance. The light outside was still very dim. She peered through the dimness, trying to see, looking for the opening in the trees where the path began, looking for Mama hurrying home. After a second, she saw a shape there, something unfamiliar, something that had not been there the day before. The dark shape, no more than a blurred heap at the beginning of the path. Annamarie squinted, forced her eyes to understand, needing to understand, not wanting to understand. The shape moved, and she knew. It was her mother lying on the earth. Chapter 13. Run as fast as you can. Still moving quietly so as not to wake her sister, Annamarie sped down the stairs and through the kitchen door, Her foot caught the loose step, and she faltered for a moment, righting herself, then dashed across the ground to the place where her mother lay. "Mama!" she called desperately. "Mama!" "Shh," Mama said, raising her head. "I'm all right." "But Mama," Annamarie asked, kneeling beside her, "what's wrong? What happened?" Her mother pulled herself to a sitting position. She winced in pain. I'm all right, really. Don't worry. And the Rosens are with Henrik. That's the important thing." She smiled a little, though her face was drawn with pain. She bit her lip, the smile fading. "We got there quickly, even though it was still so dark and it was difficult for the Rosens, not knowing the path. Henrik was there waiting on the boat, and he took them aboard and down below so quickly to the cabin that they were invisible in an instant. He said, the others were already there. Peter got them there safely too. So I turned and hurried home. I was so anxious to get back to you girls, I should have been more careful." Talking softly, she brushed some grass and dirt from her hands. "Can you believe it? I was very nearly here, well, maybe just halfway, when I tripped over a root and went sprawling." Mama sighed. "So clumsy," she said, as if she were scolding herself. "I'm afraid my ankle is broken." "Thank goodness it is nothing worse. An ankle mends, and I am home, and the Rosens are with Henrik." "You should have seen me, Annamarie," she said, shaking her head with a wry look. "Your proper mama, crawling inch by inch. I probably look like a drunkard." She reached for Annamarie's arm. "Here, let me lean on you. I think if you support me on this side, I can make my way up to the house. Goodness, what a clumsy fool I am. Here, let me put my arm over your shoulders. Oh, you're such a good, strong, brave girl. Now, very slowly. There." Mama's face was white with pain. Annamarie could see it even through the faint light of the approaching dawn. She hobbled, leaning heavily on her daughter, pausing again and again toward the house. "When we get inside, I'll have a cup of tea and then we'll call the doctor. I'll tell him that I fell on the stairs. You'll have to help me wash away the grass and twigs. Here, Annamarie, let me rest for a minute." They'd reached the house and Mama sank down to the steps and sat. She took several deep breaths. Annamarie sat beside her and held her hand. "Oh, Mama, I was so worried when you didn't come back." Mama nodded. "I knew you would be. I thought of you worrying as I dragged myself along, but here I am, safe with you. Everything is fine. What time is it?" "It must be 4:30 or close to it." "Ah, they will sail soon." Mama turned her head and gazed across the meadow to the sea and the vast sky above it. There were no stars now, only the gray, pale sky with pinkness in its border. "Soon they will be safe." Annamarie relaxed. She stroked her mother's hand and looked down at the discolored, swollen ankle. "Mama, what is this?" she asked suddenly, reaching into the grass at the foot of the steps. Mama looked. She gasped. "Oh my God," she said. Annamarie picked it up. She recognized it now, knew what it was. It was the packet that Peter had given to Mr. Rosen. "Mr. Rosen tripped on the step, remember? It must have fallen from his pocket. We'll have to save it and give it back to Peter." Annamarie handed it to her mother. "Do you know what it is?" Her mother didn't answer. Her face was stricken. She looked at the path and down at her ankle. "It's important, isn't it, Mama? It was for Uncle Henrik. I remember Peter said it was very important. I heard him tell that to Mr. Rosen." Her mother tried to stand but fell back against the steps with a groan. "Oh my God," she murmured again. "It may have all been for nothing." Annamarie took the packet from her mother's hand and stood. "I will take it," she said. "I know the way and it's almost light now. I can run like the wind." Mama spoke quickly, her voice tense. Annamarie, go into the house and get the small basket on the table. Quickly, quickly. Put an apple into it and some cheese. Put this packet underneath. Do you understand? Hurry. Annamarie did instantly as she was told. The basket, the packet at the bottom. She covered it with a napkin, then some wrapped cheese, an apple. She glanced around the kitchen, saw some bread, and added that. The little basket was full. She took it to where her mother was. You must run to the boat if anyone should stop you. Oh, who would stop me? Annamarie, you understand how dangerous this is? If any soldiers see you, if they stop you, you must pretend to be nothing more than a little girl. A silly, empty-headed little girl taking lunch to a fisherman, a foolish uncle who forgot his bread and cheese. Mama, what is it in the bottom? But her mother still didn't answer the question. Go, she said firmly, go right now and run as fast as you can. Annamarie kissed her mother quickly, grabbed the basket from her mother's lap, turned, and ran toward the path. So we're going to stop here. So far, has your prediction been right? Were you able to guess what would happen before or after I read the chapter titles to you? It's important every now and then to pause and say, wow, I wasn't expecting that. I thought they would be safe on the boat, or whatever your prediction was. Okay, bye. I'll see you in a next chapter. Bye-bye.